Does she know it? I guess.
Today we have, we're going to start off at Sunday Assembly. We like science, we love speeches, we love snacks, but most of all, we love singing. So, with that, we're going to fire up. We're going to sing first something, pick some fun, eclectic songs for us today. We're going to start off with Take Me Home, Country Road by John Denver.
Good morning, everybody.
Let's sing along. Fire.
Here we go. Almost heaven, West Virginia, Blue Ridge Mountain, Shenandoah River. I've been sold there, older than the things, younger than the mountains, flowing like a great country road. Take me home to the place I belong, West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home, country road. All my memories gather around her, my first day
deity free, celebration of this one life that we know that we have. The motto for Sunday Assembly is live better, help often, and wonder more. And I just want to remind you, this is your Sunday Assembly. The organizers and the planning committee appreciate your feedback. We have feedback jars at the back of the building. Please, if there's a song you want to sing or a module that you'd like to see modified, please let us know. Write a little note in the feedback jar and stick it into the jar. And if the note that you would write is, I do not like writing notes and putting them in the feedback jar, then see one of the organizers in the back of the building afterward. And the one thing at Sunday Assembly, we like one song, but what's better than one song? Two songs! We're actually singing, we're singing All Star by Smash Mouth. This will be a YouTube song. Please get on your feet and enjoy this song together.
We're waiting on our, here we go.
She was looking kinda dumb with her finger and her thumb in the shape of her hair on her forehead. Well, he stopped coming and don't stop coming. Back to the rules and I hit the ground running. It makes sense not to live for fun. The brain gets smart but the head gets dumb. So much to do, so much to see, so what's wrong with thinking in the back streets? You'll never know when you don't know. The next time you don't know. Hey now, you're an all-star. Get your game on, don't play. Hey now, you're a rock star. Get the show on, get paid. All that glitters gold. Only shooting stars break the mold. It's a cool place, and they say it gets colder. The bundled up now, and the things get older. But the medium and the differ, judging by the hole in the satellite picture. The ice is getting pretty thin. The water's getting warm, so you might as well swim. The world's on fire, how about yours? That's the way I rock it, and I'll never get bored. Hey now, you're an all-star. Get your game on, go play. Hey now, you're a rock star. Get the show on, get paid. All that glitters is gold. Only shooting stars break the mold.
We are going to have our reading right now. Our reader today is Laura Haywood, and she'll be reading from a TED Talk by Sue Austin, Deep Sea Diving in a Wheelchair. Come on up, Laura.
I'll trust that you guys will tell me if I need to speak up. Speak up! This is a transcript from a TED Talk by Sue Austin in 2012. The photos that accompany the reading are from the TED blog post about her artwork that you can Google. It's wonderful to be here to talk about my journey, to talk about the wheelchair and the freedom that it had brought me. I started using the wheelchair 16 years ago when an extended illness changed the way that I could access the world. When I started using the wheelchair, it was a tremendous new freedom. I'd just seen my life slip away and become restricted. It was like having an enormous new toy. I could whiz around and feel the wind in my face again. Just being out on the street was exhilarating. But even though I had this newfound joy and freedom, people's reaction completely changed towards me. It was as if they couldn't see me anymore, as if an invisibility cloak had descended. They seemed to see me in terms of their assumption of what it must be like to be in a wheelchair. When I asked people their associations with the wheelchair, they used words like limitation, fear, pity, and restriction. I realized I'd internalized these responses, and it had changed who I was on a core level. A part of me had become alienated from myself. I was seeing myself not from my perspective, but vividly and continuously from the perspective of other people's responses to me. As a result, I knew I needed to make my own stories about this experience, new narratives to reclaim my identity. I started making work that aimed to communicate something of the joy and freedom that I felt when using a wheelchair, a power chair, to negotiate the world. I was working to transform these internalized responses, to transform the preconceptions that had so shaped my identity when I started using a wheelchair by creating unexpected images. The wheelchair became an object to paint and play with. When I literally started leaving traces of my joy and freedom, it was exciting to see the interested and surprised responses from people. It seemed to open up new perspectives, and therein lay a paradigm shift. It showed that an arts practice can remake one's identity and transform preconceptions by revisioning the familiar. So when I began to dive in 2005, I realized scuba gear extends your range of activity in just the same way as a wheelchair does. But the associations with scuba gear are ones of excitement and adventure, completely different to people's responses to the wheelchair. So I thought, I wonder what will happen if I put the two together. And the underwater wheelchair that has resulted has taken me on the most amazing journey over the last 7 years. It is the most amazing experience beyond other things I've experienced in life. I literally have the freedom to move in 360 degrees of space and an ecstatic experience of joy and freedom. And the incredibly unexpected thing is that other people seem to see and feel it too. Their eyes literally light up and they say things like, I want one of those, or you can do that, you can do anything. And I'm thinking, it's because in that moment of them seeing an object that they have no frame of reference for, or so transcends the frames of reference that they had with the wheelchair, they have to think in a completely new way. And I think that moment of completely new thought perhaps creates a freedom that spreads to the rest of other people's lives. For me, it means that they're seeing the value of difference, the joy it brings when instead of focusing on loss or limitation, we see and discover the power and joy of seeing the world from exciting new perspectives. For me, the wheelchair becomes a vehicle for transformation. In fact, I now call the underwater wheelchair portal, because it's literally pushed me through into a new way of being, into new dimensions and a new level of consciousness. And the other thing is that because nobody's seen or heard of an underwater wheelchair before, and creating this spectacle is about creating new ways of seeing, being, and knowing. Now you have this concept in your mind. You're all part of the artwork too.
Excellently read, by the way, too. I'd like to mention we do have a kids zone outside, so if you please bring your family, bring your children, bring a friend next time. Let's see our new number for here at Sunday Assembly. That's just right outside the door there. Our theme for the day, also Neglected Adventure, is transforming stress into power, or turning stress into power. And today our speaker is Dr. Moira Fitzpatrick, MD, DN, from the Fitzpatrick. I'm sorry so much for that. I practiced all night long on that. So, sorry, from the Fitzpatrick Integrated and Naturopathic Medicine.
All right.
Dr. Fitzpatrick?
Good morning. It's a joy to be here and share this beautiful
Speak up a
Sunday.
little, please.
Come closer. All right, so we're going to start this morning a little bit different. So I'm going to ask everybody just to stretch and yawn. And again. And now just take a deep breath. And just allow yourself to be here now as we begin to talk about stress. So stress can take on many forms. And think about for a moment what you resonate with. It can affect you on a body level, a mind level, an emotional level, and a behavioral level. So on a body level, think about if you resonate with, do you get headaches? Do you have frequent infections? Do your muscles hurt? Do they twitch? Do you have skin irritations? Or do you feel breathless at times? On a mind level, do you worry? Are you indecisive? Do you make hasty decisions? Do you get caught up in a negative spiral downward? Is your thinking confused? Or perhaps on an emotional level, do you feel a loss of confidence, an irritability, frustration? Do you feel alienated or apprehensive? On a behavioral level, are you accident prone? Do you have insomnia? Are you restless? Do you have a loss of a sex drive? Have you lost your appetite, or do you eat too much? Are you drinking more? Are you smoking more? So all of these are different manifestations of stress. On a purely biological level, basically what's happening is there's activation of circuits in the limbic system and deactivation of circuits in the frontal cortex. So everybody, think of this as your brain. Your thumb is your limbic system. Make a fist, and this part is the cortex. And there's a strong connection between the frontal cortex and the limbic system. So you might wonder, well, how did they figure all of this out? Well, they did some studies with a functional MRI, and they asked people to look at pictures of people who were frightened or angry. And what they noticed was that there was increased blood flow to that limbic area. Then they asked the people to change the sex of the people in the pictures. There was no change. Then they asked people to name the emotion. And when they named the emotion, an interesting thing happened. There was increased blood flow to the frontal cortex and decreased blood flow to that limbic system. Remember that emotional area. And so why is all of this significant? Well, there's a concept that has gotten a lot of attention lately, and there's quite a bit of research on neuroplasticity. And basically, neuroplasticity is the brain's ability to change. There's also maladaptive neuroplasticity. And basically what happens is that the brain isn't changing with new experiences. Instead, individuals are getting stuck in the same neural pathway. And so you can see that particularly in people who are depressed. And so you may have had experiences of depression yourself, where there is an experience of spiraling into negative thinking. Well, that supports that neural pathway. And the other thing that goes on in stress from a physiological perspective is there's an increase in hormones that are stress related. So many of you probably heard of the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis. Well, the hypothalamus is part of the limbic system. And when we get stressed, then all of these glucocorticoids or cortisol increases. Now that then affects the whole body. When we have excess cortisol or lots of stress, some people have a tendency to eat more. Some people eat less. If you eat less, then the brain has to have glucose and you're stressing the adrenals. So everything that is occurring in the body in relationship to stress is interacting with all systems, the body, the mind, the emotions, and your behavior. So let's talk about neuroplasticity. How do we get out of this rut that's so supported by our culture? Let's talk about neuroplasticity and what that means. So there's two areas that I'm going to talk about today. One is synaptogenesis. And basically that means that there's more connections between the neurons. And neurons are basically cells in the brain. And they became very much aware of that through studies with functional MRI. Now, when there is a repetition in synapses, then you begin to develop a new habit. So, when an individual starts to do something new, let's say you decide, well, I want to learn to sing, or I want to learn to dance. And in that process, you're beginning to build some new neural pathways. And over time, that neural pathway becomes automatic. So something that becomes important for all of us is that we're constantly learning new things so that our brain can continue to grow and develop. And it does so throughout our lives. Another concept is called neurogenesis. And this is basically the process of creating new neurons. And I wonder if you can guess, what is the most important activity we can do to create new neurons? Exercise. Yes, there's so much research on exercise. And basically, it demonstrates that neurogenesis goes on throughout our lives. And it upregulates brain-derived neurotropic factor, and that's just a fancy name for the food that fuels our neurons, or the cells in our brain. Exercise increases hippocampal volume. So why is the hippocampus important? The hippocampus is important because that is the seat of memory. Now, if we take a step back and take a look at depression, when people are constantly in that chronic depressed mode, it causes a shrinkage of the hippocampus by 19%. So clearly, when research discovered that exercise is the best treatment for depression, not only is it good for the brain, it's good for the memory. Other things that physical exercise does is it reduces inflammation. Inflammation is the cause of chronic disease. There's a strong association of inflammation with depression. Exercise also increases cognitive function. It increases memory. It improves our attention and also our cognitive speed. Okay, so we've got exercise. Why aren't we all exercising? Our brains would just continue to grow and expand and be more productive and more creative. Well, another area of research is positive thinking. And this is honest positive thinking. So positive affect and positive feelings support creativity and flexibility in problem solving. Essentially, a positive attitude really increases our flexibility to solve problems in the world. It makes us willing to try new things. It helps people engage in healthier behaviors. So one of the studies that they did was they took individuals with coronary heart disease and they began a program of physical exercise. But in order to sustain the habit of physical exercise, it became important to to support people in how they're thinking. And so when they combined both positive thinking and physical exercise, the amount of morbidity and mortality increased. What else does positive thinking and positive affect do? It decreases our level of inflammation. And so if we have a positive affect, positive thinking, then that decreases our risk for chronic disease. So how do you stay positive? Well, one is being in the now. It's learning how to relax. And it's repetitively focusing on the positive. So many of you have probably heard of the use of mantras. And basically what it is that mantras do is they distract you from going down that pathway of negative thinking. But you don't have to have a special spiritual mantra. You can use things like, all is well. Everything always works out for me. Because the point is that you're moving away from the habitual thinking in order to okay, so our new mantra is, everything always works out for me, or all is well.
Right now it is.
Well. Another thing that supports the brain and supports positive affect is meditation. And so basically with meditation, what it does is that it increases activity in the prefrontal cortex. The medial prefrontal cortex, which is the center of integration, it's the center of empathy and compassion. So meditation is just a way to quiet the mind. And that's essentially what we want to do, is we want to quiet the brain. And what it does, biochemically, is it increases the amount of GABA in the brain, which is the neurotransmitter that is calming. So if you think about it, one of the things that we've known for years and years through the martial arts is that being present enables you to be in your power. If your mind is in the future or your mind is in the past, your power is split. By being in the present, you have all of your power to move forward to do the things that you want to do. So how do you handle stress? How do you make some of these changes? Well, one is to breathe, to become aware of how you're holding tension in your body, and becoming aware of the thoughts that you think that are fueling or driving some of this energy. So I like to do experiential kinds of things because they're a lot of fun. And what I've discovered over 30 years of practice is there's usually a thought, a very simple thought, that's the basis of all of the negativity that we have. It's individual to each of us. And so when I started looking at that for myself, it came down to this: I'm not enough. And people looked at me like I was crazy. You have 2 doctorate degrees? You have a belief that you're not enough? It's a great compensation. If you're constantly achieving, you never have to deal with that thought, I'm not enough. So what are some other simple negative beliefs that are at the core of all of us? Well, some are, I'm not lovable, I'm unworthy, I'm a failure, I'm ugly, whatever they are. So I'm going to ask you right now to take a moment and ask yourself that question. What is the most negative thought I have about myself? Remember, keep it simple. So just reflect on that for a moment, because we're going to play with it. Everybody have something? Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to have a cocktail party. So I'm going to have everybody come up, and this is what you're going to do. Hi, I'm Moira, and I'm not enough. And you tell me who you are. I'm Chloe. Nice to meet you. All right, everybody get up. We'll all do this together. Hi, I'm Moira, and I'm not enough. That is really helpful, and one of the experiments that they did in research is as people are learning to deal with stress and cope with stress, as you go back to what is my deepest, innermost value, you come back to what's meaningful for you. And when we live our lives based upon our deepest, innermost value, then we can just let go of things because we become more focused. Becomes much more of a priority. So what are some very specific ways to cope with stress? Number one is to be present and to breathe, to allow ourselves to relax. To go back to what is my deepest, innermost value, and to create your life based upon that value. Another is to be compassionate toward yourself, in the same way that you would be compassionate toward others. Remember to breathe and to engage in physical activity. And so I'd like to leave you with a few thoughts. And just take a moment and allow yourself just to open, to be receptive. May you be happy and peaceful. May you have ease and well-being. May you be free from stress and worry. May you be healthy. May you live from your innermost values. May you have joy and love in your life. Thank you.
Dr. Fitzpatrick can be found at the Fitzpatrick Integrative and Naturopathic Medicine, and also at the back of the room after the Assemblies. She's great to stay and answer any questions, so I get that one in there correctly. Thank you very much. That was, I actually, not kidding, feel much more relaxed up here, so it's very nice. Now we have a performance from the choir, so come on up, choir. They're going to sing a song for you. This is not a sing-along. They're singing the song Listen to the Music by Walk Off the Earth.
We sang this before, but we improved it, so we thought it's
Don't you feel it growing day by day?
have a really good time, and we meet on Mondays from, what time do we meet? 7.
7?
And, yeah, if you'd like to join us. We did a meetup as in choir, which is what our name is, if you'd like to join us.
Thank you very much, Emma. Something where we get to the point where we talk to one of you about doing their best. It's a personal story that you share with us, so if you're interested in doing that, please let us know. We'd love to hear from you. Today it's Betsy Hines' personal story, doing her best.
Hi, hello. When I was in college, I had a terrible car accident. I'm wondering if it's still going right now. We get it together.
It's okay.
It's interesting how much this dovetails with what you're talking about stress, because I fell asleep driving across the desert again. So I woke up in the middle of nowhere with my feet out through the windshield. I couldn't control my physical body, I couldn't control my physical circumstances, but I figured out I could control my attitude. And I decided I could either be angry or mad. So I took a choice of being mad. So I started screaming, I was bellowing. And so people came running down near me. And then things started getting bad. The ambulance drivers showed up, they were wonderful, they were hilarious. They kept me laughing, really buoyed me up. It was about an hour to Phoenix, so we had a nice long ride. I kept asking if I could go to the bathroom, was there any way? And they said, well, we can stop at this McDonald's. I said, sure, that'd do. Of course, they were kidding because I had broken bones and cuts and you name it. So they took me to St. Joseph's, which is like the best hospital. They said, you're going to call you plastic surgery and stuff, so we'll take you there. And in my mind, these were nuns that were scrubbing on me and scaring me. I imagined them as nurses. And I looked at the ambulance driver and I said, can you take me somewhere else? And they did. They took me to another hospital where I could control my attitude. The doctor comes in and he goes, okay, he has a big pair of scissors, and he said, all right, well, you got your clothes off now, but I'm not going to look. And I said, look! And that's the kind of people that I've decided I need to surround myself with in those circumstances. And just in daily circumstances. And believe me, I was in the mouth through that whole thing. There was no place else to be. But when there's a choice to be able to surround yourself with good people and avoid the toxic situations, I think we'd all be fools not to. That's my story.
Thank you. This is the point in the program where I deliver the MC address, so I prefer not to use the microphone if anybody, if I don't think I'm not too loud, so let me know if that's the case. Thank you very much for that. That was really awesome. Thanks very much. I was looking at stress. I was like, well, what can I tell anybody about stress? Everybody has it. And I was thinking sometimes I'll go to the classics. So I look at Mark Twain, and Mark Twain says, I'm an old man, and I've had many troubles in my life, most of which never happened. That's really for me. It's not what's happening in my life that's stressful. It's the things that I worry about. It's something Dr. Fitzpatrick talked about. It's the things that I worry about every day, things that I worry might happen. Now, I'd like to relate two stories, and I basically have two perspectives that I keep on stress that really help me get through the day. Well, I'll tell you where I work because it'll be easier to tell the story that way. Because I'm proud of where I work and I'm proud of Sunday Assemblies, so why not use it too, I figured. I work for Costco Wholesale, and I was in charge of closing down the San Marcos Costco when they relocated their building. So it was shipping out $14 million worth of inventory and selling off all the assets and breaking down all the steel. And it was 8 days of complete, utter stress. I stressed every minute of the day, whether we get the right price on the assets and whether the shipping would make on time, whether it was following procedures, employee safety. And then when I was home at night, I was stressed about the next day. I just constant stress and worry for 8 days. And at the end of 8 days, I stood in the middle of this empty building, a city block wide, concrete and walls around me, and I felt this amazing sense of accomplishment. I just felt so great. On another day, I was at the beach with my son, who was 4 years old then, and he was playing in the waves, and I was giving him a little bit of distance. We have his independence, and he's challenging the huge waves that 4-year-olds do. And I noticed in the distance, we were just south of Dog Beach at Ocean Beach, and I noticed 2 big dogs running in our direction. And I figured they were running to Dog Beach, but I was a little concerned because my son was right there, and he's just little, and I didn't know what their intention was, but they were just running parallel to each other, just full trot. And I noticed, I moved a little closer to my son, and I noticed when I did that the dogs were both leashed, and the leashes were connected in the middle, and they had this taut, like, tripwire thing in between them, and they were both running right towards my son, and I panicked. I didn't know what to do, so I grabbed my son at the very last minute, and I leaped over the leashes. I heard on the beach behind me, "Go Big Daddy!" I felt so proud. I felt just about as proud at that moment as I did at the San Marcos Costco. It's just almost like a test in a stressful situation. What will you do? I guess I'll be okay. And I thought, well, I felt like a superhero at that point. I really did. I thought that's pretty cool. And that would be the kind of superhero I would like to be, by the way, if I could do that. Just do little things for people. You just fly in. Okay, fly in too. Fly in, pick up the judge. There you go. Slide back down. No,
Superman.
Just do little things for people would be really cool. I'd love to be able to just like fly in. Let me help you with that. There you go. You're welcome. I think that'd be really cool. I saw this guy at Costco the other day. This woman, she was trying to get her infant child into the seat on the basket where the holes are, and he was wearing this onesie, and his legs were kind of like this, and she couldn't get it. And the person with her had a backpack, and they had another baby in their arms, and they couldn't help it. This guy just walks up and pulls them through and walks off, and they go, "Thank you." I said, that's the kind of superhero I'm going to be. Just hop in and help people with the little things out of their life. Well, of those 2 instances, I felt equally proud of both of those instances, and I realized, though, that the perspective that I try to keep, I've a lot of stressful situations that I deal with every day. We've processed 1,800,000 transactions since last September. There's some that don't go as well as they can, so I end up talking to some people that are frustrated sometimes. And I always try to keep it in perspective, like I do with these things. What really happened in these instances where I was still stressed out? I picked up my child and I jumped. That's all that happened. The one at Costco, what really happened is I worked with a group of highly motivated, hard-working, smart people who did what they were supposed to do, and everything went really well. For all that stress I did, that's really what happened. That's the perspective I try to keep. My wife has a really dear group of friends that have stayed in touch with each other in person and through the internet for years and years. One of their friends died of cancer not too long ago. And so when they're talking to each other, they will relay the difficult things out of their life, the stressful things, the hard things that are happening in their life. But they're often will say, but it's not cancer. One, they're remembering a friend, but they're also keeping it in perspective and saying, I really appreciate you listening to me on this thing, but I want you to know that I understand the thing that I'm telling you right now. I'm keeping it in perspective. And I think that perspective is really important to keep. I often think when I'm in a heated situation at work that I'm on this blue marble floating in infinite space. If you get closer to the marble, you can see the land and the water separated, and even closer to that, you can see patches of land and closer still buildings, and even closer to that, my building right there. And the thing that's happening in the building at that time is in infinite space, and I think, well, this is pretty insignificant. But the other perspective that I try to keep all the time is that whatever I think about that, if it's a simple thing to me, the person that I'm talking to, it might be very important. And that's a little perspective that I try to keep on these things, because I don't know, the thing that the person is upset about might not be the thing that they're upset about. It might be just the last thing. It might be the one thing that just pushed them over. And so I try to listen with empathy. And I try to, I think maybe I'm the one person that this person's talked to in a day, that's communicated with them, that's listened to them. And I try to always keep that in mind. And maybe I can help them. And maybe I can do those, maybe I can be that superhero. Maybe I can do that on a daily basis. I can hold an elevator door open. Or I can help pull the door open for somebody that's carrying parcels. Or I could go to the beach cleanup on September 20th and clean up Chicago Park with Sunday Assembly so that the child can play in a nice clean park. And I think, well, maybe I could be that superhero every day, all the time, and maybe the small things that I would do aren't so small. Maybe those are the important things. That's all I have to say for the address for the day. We come to the point in the assembly where we'll enjoy a moment of silence, and this time actually on the lunch. So please use this time however you like, obviously. We'll start right now. Sunday Assembly is not-for-profit and run entirely by volunteers. It's that time of the assembly where we'll pass the hat around. There's some new faces here. If you're new to Sunday Assembly, please let that hat pass right on by you. Bring a friend. We'd love to have you next time. But if you're a veteran of Sunday Assembly and you've been coming and you'd like to see Sunday Assembly keep going, please make a donation into the hat. And this is the time of the assembly where we'll meet our neighbors and talk to each other. Thank you very much.
Very high.
$15, 25 for two. And there's a tailgate party before that, that's on Sunday and midday. Hope to see you there. The tickets are available for sale in the back of the room. The philanthropy happens the day before that, and I believe that is, we're doing park cleanup with I Love Clean San Diego. Is that at Chicago Park? Barrio Logan. Barrio Logan, Cesar Chavez Park, which I misappropriately named. Yes, that one, right. Thank you. With all the beautifully redone paintings on the beams. Also, we're still collecting from Border Angels, so please bring next assembly, or if any brought anything this time, any goods to give to people. Basically, they use a lot of stuff for babies, diapers and things like that. Also, the next food bank opportunity is in October, so we'll be skipping on. They're not doing anything in September. On September 24th is our Sunday Assembly. Also, the Sunday Assembly. There's 27 Sunday Assemblies in the world, at countries all over, but on that day they're launching dozens of assemblies, including new assemblies in Amsterdam, Sao Paulo, Singapore, Vancouver, Toowoomba, Glasgow, and also Baltimore. So that'll be...
Even Baltimore?
That's going to be very exciting. The next week, next time, November 24th, our speaker is Karen Martin, who's fantastic. She's co-founder of a charitable organization that's been around for more than a decade called Kids Helping Kids. So she has a great story about how that started and what can you do. She started from really humble beginnings, and she'll relate that story. It's going to be great. Also, this is our last big push before September, because by September we'd like to have 30 reoccurring donors. Right now we're about halfway there. If you like Sunday Assembly, if you take a moment to sign up for a recurring donation, $5, $10, having that funding really helps us to know how we can budget our money annually and quarterly, and the philanthropic events that we can afford to do, and also what we can do here with the assemblies. Again, we encourage you to leave notes in the back of in the jars there if you have any suggestions you'd like to make. We'd really love to hear from you, and just great to see everybody here today. We also have square card readers for everybody that wants to get set up on the donations, or buy their Sunday Assembly flag or the baseball today. And we come once again to the final sing-along, which we're going to sing. This is the W that goes in the program, Wonderwall by Oasis. So everybody on your feet, one last song, kneel. And choir, come on up. Or you guys can lead us out. assembly all day at Aqua Park, just set up the playground, so the park's just 3 blocks from here, right across from Wall Street. We're the assembler organizers in the wrap up, so we'll be mass right around 1 o'clock. It's a potluck, there's plenty of dishes. If you didn't bring anything, please join us anyway, so it'll be a lot of fun. We'd love to have you after every assembly. We go have a snack item, beverage someplace, and today, it's right out in the park. So thank you all very much. Great to see you, and thank you.